The grid for the 2023 NASCAR playoffs is set. The big names and bigger personalities are ready to scrap it out over the next 10 races for the chance to etch their name into NASCAR history as the next champion. People are putting their money where their mouth is and calling their shots as to who's going to come out on top. Martin Truex Jr. came out of 2023's regular season as the points champion, and his 15 bonus playoff points, the equivalent of 3 extra race wins, will obviously be a big boost going into the season finale. Other strong contenders include Hendrick Motorsports' William Byron, who tied Truex on 2,036 points, but lost out on the regular season points title on his performance, as well as Truex's Joe Gibbs teammate, the ever-controversial Denny Hamlin. The usual names are further down the list, with Kyle Busch, Kevin Harvick and Joey Logano all claiming their spots fairly uneventfully, but there are also some big omissions. NASCAR's most popular driver, Chase Elliott, found themselves in a must-win scenario at Daytona and, failing to do so, didn't advance to the postseason. Conversely, Daytona being won by RFK's Chris Buescher opened up the way for Bubba Wallace to make the cut on points, the only driver in the playoffs this year without a race win in 2023. So today, we're taking a look at Bubba's performance as one of the underdogs fighting for the championship. Are they in with a shot? What do they need to do to put themselves in that four-way battle at the finale at Phoenix? And who's going to stand in their way? Let's get into it. This is Wallace's 5th year in the Cup Series, but the first time they've made it into the playoffs. The 23 car this year has been a solid runner at the front of the midfield, and has broken into the top 10s and top 5s all across the calendar, and solid improvements across the board and behind the scenes have been the key to this milestone. Gone are some of the psychological setbacks that have often troubled Bubba's front-running contention, and notably, significant weaknesses with their road course racing have shrunk dramatically or disappeared entirely, with a 12th place finish at Watkins Glen, historically a weak track for Bubba, being a catalyst to controlling their own destiny at the season closer in Daytona. They came in 47 points ahead of Trackhouse's Daniel Suarez, and with no new winner in the field, held their own in a mid-pack full of drivers who needed a win to punch their ticket to the postseason. And it is that mental resilience which makes Bubba the outside odds candidate heading into the first playoff round of 16. Darlington and Bristol may be tracks that historically look set for a Hamlin or a Harvick victory, but Kansas is another story. Last year, in 2022, Bubba in the 45, standing in for Kurt Busch, headed straight to victory lane, leading 43 laps and keeping their car owner Denny Hamlin at bay, in a masterful and dominating performance. After that race, Bubba talked about how at ease he felt in the car on Kansas's layout, despite being lights out quick all day and running down the early pace setter Alex Bowman. A repeat of that performance this year could pave Bubba's way into the round of 8, with another track where Wallace has a victory their name awaiting there, that of course being Talladega. Despite Bubba's Talladega win often being attributed to the rain delay bringing the race to an early close, Bubba's always run strongly at NASCAR superspeedways, and racing in their home state has to be worth another 5 horsepower. But the round of 8 is where the pressure starts to really pick up, and regardless of which big names are still running at that stage, I have a feeling that it's another underdog who's going to throw the biggest wrench in the works for the 23 team. Off the track, Ryan Blaney is a good friend of Bubba's, but on it, all those friendships go out the window. The driver of the Penske 12 car claimed their spot in the playoffs with a victory at the Coca-Cola 600 at Charlotte, notoriously one of NASCAR's toughest races, and unlike Wallace, they have a stronger wealth of playoff experience to draw from. Last year, Blaney's model of consistency saw them into the round of 8, producing a Cup Series leading 9 stage wins, while ranking second in stage points with 290. They had an average finish of 13.6, which was courtesy of 12 top 5 and 17 top 10 finishes, making them a tough competitor to pass on track or in the standings. So while much of Bubba Wallace's 2023 season has been defined by their lack of fear when racing the big names at the front of the pack, the key to progressing in the playoffs will be, in my opinion, keeping their nose ahead of drivers like Blaney, who are always capable of producing an upset. Looking around the rest of the field, there's both help and detriment for Bubba, with teammate Tyler Reddick in the 45 and fellow Toyota driver Christopher Bell offering some support, but also sharp-elbowed scrappers like Brad Keselowski and Ricky Stenhouse Jr. posing an object to avoid on the track. One wrong move in their vicinity, and you will be in the wall and out of the playoffs before you can say, "Can I get fries with that?" But it's exactly that tight pack running awareness that has been a big improvement in Bubba's camp in 2023, and we can attribute a lot of that to veteran crew chief Booty Barker. The atmosphere of positivity in that team camp can be compared with that of Mercedes F1 team, and the no-blame culture instilled by head honcho Toto Wolff. And they have to be coming into the playoffs with a positive mindset. Both of Bubba's career wins have come in the postseason, despite not being playoff eligible at the time. So now the 23 actually has a chance at the title, and they have a chance to grab their fate in their own hands and make something special happen. Bubba's post-Daytona quote of just trying to control what you can control shows both the shift in their mentality after wrestling their spot in the playoff bubble, and the change in how the team view themselves. No longer content to just see how well they can do. Instead, they truly believe they can go all the way. And you know what? I think they can too. Do you think Bubba Wallace has what it takes to win the title? Let me know down in the comments. And if you enjoyed that video, please consider liking, subscribing, and supporting the channel in the link down below, so you never miss any videos and you get your say on what content I cover next. But as always, I'd like to say thank you very much for watching, stay safe out on the road, and I'll see you next time.
Dale Earnhardt Jr. takes it. Lewis Hamilton, champion of the world.
Ewan Kankin, 4 times title holder.